Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Portland High School Board of Education podcast. And with me in the studio is our Superintendent of Schools, the one, the only, Dr. Charles Britton. Hi, Charles. How are you?
Have we really done 23 of these already? Wow.
Yes. Time flies.
Yeah.
You know, we're just cranking them out here.
I think so. 20, that's about one a month, I think.
Yeah, we're about there. You know, sometimes a little bit more often, but, you know, we're doing at least one a month. So anyway, so tell us, what's new in the district? How's your summer going?
Everything's good. It's, a little after July 4th here.
Mm-hmm.
The last 2 weeks of June are always a very nice time for public school educators. It's sort of our opportunity to catch our breath and focus on the next year. With the exception of, we just started all of our summer programs.
Yeah,
I think one of the really neat things about some of the relief money that we received from the pandemic is that we were encouraged to use it to run summer learning programs for our kids, and we've done so. So for the past 2 years, we're going to be able to do it. Did it last summer. This summer, we'll be able to do it next summer, and I believe the summer after.
Okay.
We're running, essentially they're about 4-hour programs for students to come in and, essentially get some extra help, right?
Okay.
The original design of the programs was to help students recover learning loss that was experienced during the pandemic, which we know happened.
Sure, absolutely.
But it's great, lots of people will hear me say this and, groan. But, my dream ultimately is that year-round schooling should be a reality. I don't see why, we stop in the middle of June and don't pick up again until the end of August. Yes, I get it. Summer's important and camps and get kids outside. And year-round schooling doesn't have to look like it does during the regular year.
Right.
And we learned a lot from the pandemic about how to do things online. And, we can create some really nice and have created some really nice enrichment programs. And it's really important that our kids are continuing to read and think critically and creatively about the world and engage in rich conversations throughout the summer months.
Sure.
So, I'm seeing it happen. And it may be one of those silver linings from the pandemic that we take away, and that summer learning is something that just happens normally.
Sure.
So that's the hope.
Now, when you say the summer programs, you say are 4 hours. Is that daily or
in person? Yep, 5 days a week for the month of July,
all right.
And then we have an additional program that's an online program for all kids. Like in the old days, we used to do reading challenges and encourage students to continue reading. Now we're just a little bit more structured. Our teachers come in and put together some fun activities for kids to work on, and we let all the kids take home their Chromebooks over the summer, so they have access to the technology and the Google Classrooms. And then teachers incentivize if they do these reading and math challenges and different types of things. We do raffles and giveaways.
Nice.
So keeps kids reminded that school's here and important and connected to their teachers and classmates, and while off enjoying the summer, also keeping their minds engaged.
Sure. Now, I think that the high school here is also utilized for the Park and Rec program, summer program.
Correct. The Park and Rec program is going strong. A Middletown Stage Company is renting our facilities for the last 2 weeks of July to do some performances. I know Camp Ingersoll is up and running. Lots of fun things for people to do. So, if anybody hearing the sound of my voice, has a youngster at home who might otherwise be looking for something to be engaged in,
sure,
get in touch with us.
Yes.
We have plenty of scholarships and financial assistance available to people. And if any parent called me up and said, hey, my son or daughter would benefit from some healthy things to do, let me know. We have our social workers, and we could certainly put people in touch with the right resources.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I think with the pandemic and so forth, I think social workers are really earning their pay as far as that goes.
Yeah, we all have, but in particular, our social workers, our counselors, our school psychologists have all been
keeping kids engaged.
That's what it's about. Helping, navigate some troubled times.
Yes.
But I think we're over it. I think we're heading in the right direction, and all is well.
Sure. So were you able to take some time off yet?
I did, yeah. I
Yeah.
took the last 2 weeks of June. I only worked a couple of days, but just spent some time with the family, and that's it. Relax.
Played a little golf,
Played a
I
little
hear.
golf on the side. Yeah.
There you go.
Did a little water skiing, that kind of thing.
That's nice.
Yep.
That's nice. Well, I mean, certainly, weather-wise, it's, we've been, fairly lucky. I think today is the humidity is not as good as it was yesterday, but we got a little more humidity. But, realistically, we've been very fortunate. You can look around the country and all the extreme weather and floods and all that kind of stuff. And we're in the Northeast here. I think we're, doing
Get outside and enjoy it, for sure.
Exactly. So, anyway, what's, as far as in relation to, I know one of the hot topics, what's the timetable on replacing the track? Do you know?
Oh, yeah. So, we interviewed some architecture firms already, and now we're going to go out for some bids to find out how much this will all cost us. I don't expect that the track would be, unfortunately, done by the next track season, essentially in the spring, and that has a lot to do with. I'm learning a lot about tracks. The temperature is important when you remove the old and put down the new foundation and the top for it. It has to be you have to find a Goldilocks zone of temperature, and that usually is early spring. But with a little bit of luck and some hope, I think by next summer we'll see some good progress, and certainly by track season 2024 we'll be back to hosting events and have a great upgraded facility.
Yes, that'd be nice.
That'd be very nice.
Yeah. I know the track gets a lot of use. I mean, even
it does.
I come up here and walk every morning, and so forth at 5 o'clock in the morning and get my mile and a mile and a half, absolutely. Whatever. So, but it's a nice facility, and it's the best part at 5 in the morning. I can watch the sunrise coming up over the horizon. So anyway,
and it's not just the track. One other thing I would remind everybody of, and I have put out plenty of emails to parents and invited, and I've got some really good responses, that we're running a series of focus groups this summer to get input from parents, community members, stakeholders. We're going to try to really canvass the town and make sure that we get feedback from a lot of people about what the future of the schools might look like.
Right, and that's what I think your facilities committee, correct?
The facilities committee is doing. And the reality is right now, we run 5 separate schools for a student population of 1,250 to 1,300 students. That's a lot of overhead. That's a lot of overhead that you're carrying. And we're having some real discussions, and I know these discussions have been had for many, many years in Portland about, the age of the facilities, the condition of the facilities, and the amount of square footage that we are taking care of. And whether there might be some ways to, encumber some savings and essentially improve the quality of facilities and the educational environment. And might those two things work together? And some of the ideas that are floating around now are, do we need all 5 schools, right? What would the district look like if we reduce from 5 to 3 or 5 to 4 or 5 to 3?
Yeah.
Right? And, what would the community support that?
Sure.
And of course, we don't want to go make a plan that we think is good without any community input to have people disappointed with it. We want to make sure that we do as much work as we can on the front end, so that the plan we come out with, we know that we've had enough input from people. And again, I don't ever expect unanimous support. But, 90% is pretty good, right? Let's get people consensus. Excited about this and behind it. So next Monday, we're running focus groups all the month of rest of July and parts of August, and then into the fall, so that I'm really excited to hear from stakeholders, hear from taxpayers about their ideas about what they'd like to see the school district look like over the next 5 to 10 years. Share those ideas with the Board of Education and our Board of Selectmen, and see if there's some consensus about what we might become as a K through 12 district with a relatively stable population over the next decade.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I do sound for probably 4 or 5 high schools around the state, and I have high schools that are populated with 12 to 1,500 kids. That's just a high school.
Yeah,
So
no, I ran a high school for 8 years of 1,800 kids.
yes,
The high school I ran was larger than this entire district.
exactly.
It's not uncommon. I mean, it's just, it is uncommon that you find schools of 200, 250. That's small.
Right.
So there's some greater efficiencies and some better experiences we might be able to provide.
Yeah, and at the same time, experience some savings.
Exactly.
As far as like you say, there's a lot of infrastructure to upkeep and a lot of things to maintain, and actually, and requiring staffing and that whole thing. So that is an issue, and if you can encumber some savings there, it's certainly well worth looking at.
Yeah, and of course, anything we do has to be sustainable.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I mean, it's obviously we are blessed with the resources that we have now, and we want to make sure we're using them wisely, and
Sure.
we want to make sure that everybody who pays their taxes feels like we're good stewards of that funding source, and that is a very important consideration.
Sure.
Of course, in my mind, the primary consideration is always an environment that promotes the highest quality teaching and learning.
Sure.
But very quickly, second on the list has to be in a cost-effective way.
Sure. Well, I think one of the things that we experienced, with the COVID thing is that, in many schools, not just our district, many schools throughout the state, the HVAC systems were antiquated, and in order to comply with a lot of those, air handling issues, okay, a lot of things have to be upgraded. So that's another thing to
Sure, we know. Visit any school on a hot day, except for maybe the high school and middle school, and you'll feel it.
Oh, sure.
Unfortunately, there is no air conditioning in some of our facilities, which is why on very hot days in the spring and fall we dismiss early. Because it becomes insufferably hot.
Yes, yes.
And of course, we also have to recognize that the architects who designed brownstone in the 1930s didn't have the same concerns about school security that we have today. They weren't thinking about technology needs the same way we do today.
Yes.
Times have changed.
Absolutely.
And Valley View, Gildersleeve, and Brownstone were designed for educating children of a different generation and a different time. So we have to recognize that and talk about that in the context of what our teachers and our students need today.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that goes hand in hand with again the upkeep and maintenance. As far as that goes, sure. For sure. So now, staffing wise, do you have some new hires coming down this year?
We're in
Let's talk about those a little bit.
Really good shape. We have a new assistant principal. His name is Frank Cardona. I know the community is going to love him. We have a new facilities director, Bob Shea. Definitely not a stranger in town.
Sure.
I know everybody knows Bob well and is going to welcome him to that position. We have a new principal at Brownstone named Mike Searson.
Okay.
So 3 new administrators coming in. Have hired some fabulous teachers.
Okay.
We still have some positions available if anybody's hearing my voice and is a kindergarten teacher. I am going to be asking for an additional kindergarten teacher. Our enrollment in kindergarten is closing in on 100. I think we could use a 6th kindergarten teacher. That's not definite yet, but something we're looking seriously at. And we did have a 4th grade teacher resign. So if anybody knows any good kindergarten or 4th grade teachers out there, we're looking.
Come on down.
Yeah, and we're also looking for a reading teacher for the middle school.
Okay.
So those are the 3 positions we have left. Otherwise, we're going to be fully staffed and ready to roll.
Great.
Come August 28th.
28th, that's it.
Yep.
As far as that's go. And now the summer programs that are going through July. Just July.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just July.
And then August is pretty much kind of laying low.
Oh, August is get ready.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
August is the camps are still running. Park and Rec camp, Camp Ingersoll.
Right.
But the school programs start to refresh.
Great. All right, fantastic. From that standpoint, I think that puts us in good shape to launch into the new. It's going to be 22-23 school year.
Doesn't it feel like something Ray Bradbury would write about?
Oh my God, huh? It's just like, wow. It just the calendar just keeps slipping over.
I feel like we should put on our jetpacks or something.
Yes, yeah. Oh God. Anyway.
Yep.
So, all right, good. Anything else you want to cover? Well, let's make it short and sweet here.
Yeah, short and sweet. I'll come back in August and give you an update on how those focus groups went and maybe talk a little bit about next steps.
Sure. Yeah, maybe next time, maybe we can have maybe Lou Pear from the Facilities Committee come
great
in
idea.
And chat a little bit about, he's doing a great job. Obviously, he's very, very experienced,
Yep.
In administration and so forth, and brings a lot to the table.
He is a Portland treasure.
Yes, that's good. All right. So that about wraps it up here for our episode number 23 for the Town of Portland School District podcast with our Superintendent of Schools, Dr. Charles Britton. I'm your host, Dave Kuzminski, and that is now where I guess we're officially in the dog days of summer.
Yeah, enjoy. Stay cool, everyone.
All right. So we will see you next time. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
This podcast was produced by the Town Tech Educational Partnership Program, which is a partnership between Portland High School and the Portland Town Hall. If you're looking to start a podcast for your business or organization, check out towntech.org/podcast to learn more.